この番組は映画制作の株式会社俊介フィルムとトータルリフォームの株式会社リブラッシュの提供でお送りいたします。
Broadcasting from Komiten Studios in downtown Fukuoka, ladies and gentlemen, Shunsuke Film presents The Talk Show.
Yes, it's time for Maximum Travel Report. あの時間ですよ。Maximum Travel 行ってきます。で、あれ、東部が好きなマックス、向こうに行きたいなマックスですよ。実は、今まではそのアメリカのね、ちょっと裏話やマックス風なツアーの進め場所をやりました。タイの話もやりましたですけども、今回は日本のことを紹介します。まあ、今はね、ラジオの前のあなたやYouTube の前のあなたは日本人と思うから、とりあえず今回は英語でやります。なんか外国の方はね、日本はバリバリ高いのイメージを持ってます。1万円のメロンは高いすぎるから日本にいたらもう食べることできないのイメージがあるからね、それはもったいない。日本はね、もうとってもいい国、素晴らしい国、そしてここでね、安い生活も安い旅もできますから、今日は海外にいるの皆さん向きの日本のCheap Japan 紹介するぜ。 That's right, we're going to do this corner in English today because I'm talking to all of you out there in the internetosphere. Maybe you're listening on the radio as well, but if you're catching us on YouTube or of course on our homepage and you like Japan, you Google Japan, you manga, and you wanted something else, but you got us. Well, hey, lucky you, because we got a lot of inside information for Japan for you, and that's what I'm talking about today. A lot of people think Japan is like super expensive. They're like, oh, it's $100 for a melon. Japan, nice melons, but too expensive. And that's true. You can find really expensive melons. You can find square watermelons if you want, and pay $100 if you want. That's an option. But the truth is, I've never ever eaten a square watermelon, and very few people have, because it's just, who would pay $100 for a watermelon, right? The thing of that is that actually the Japanese are great foodies. They're great Epicureans, which means that you can eat really well here without paying $100 for a melon. But what that also means is that each different region has its specialty. There's a town called Yubari, and that's their thing. They make melons. So if you want a melon, you want a Yubari melon, you're going to pay a premium for that. However, you can get another melon that's also delicious. That's going to cost you a lot less. Same thing for the square watermelon. Yeah, you can grow them that way, and they're the specialty of somewhere, but you don't need to do that at all. In fact, if you look at just the raw numbers, of course, Japan has been in kind of a deflation, or at least economic stagnation, since the bubble burst in really the late 80s or in the 90s. And what that means is that things have stayed relatively the same. So imagine traveling back. It's like a time machine. Imagine going back to the 90s and paying the prices you were paying for things then. Right now, that would seem, of course, very cheap. In fact, there's been no wage inflation either for the most part, which means that on average, the average Japanese worker is earning a net of something like 4,000 US, maybe even less than that a month, especially if you're out in the countryside. Yet, they have a savings rate that's higher certainly than America, and that a lot of the rest of the developed world as well. They save like about $9,000, slightly under $9,000 a year per capita. Now, if you do the math on that, that means they're not spending that much money to live. In fact, you maybe have a whole family that's living on less than $100 a day. That means that you, as a traveler, can definitely do it. Of course, the days of Europe on $5 a day are gone, but you're not going to blow your wad just to get here. You might have to spend a little bit on the airfare, and when you're in Japan, the transportation might be a little bit expensive as well, but there are a lot of new startup carriers. You might not want to take a lot of taxis. Taxis are awesome. The guys are dressed like policemen, and they have white gloves on, like they're going to be serving you something or doing some kind of surgery. And you should take a taxi at least once, because the door will open by itself. It's like a ghost taxi, which is amazing. Don't touch the door. It would be incredibly rude where you'd actually touch the door. And of course, everything's on a meter. Everything's safe. You can trust them, no problem. They'll get you there safe and sound. And it's not that expensive because you don't tip as well. But I wouldn't take a lot of taxis because they are relatively expensive compared to back home, wherever you're coming from. However, if you're looking to get around within the country as a foreigner, before you arrive here, you can get the Japan Rail Pass, which I don't know the details of it, but you can find it online like that, super easy. And you can use that for like a week or 2 weeks or something to take any train throughout Japan. Japan, not that big, with one of the best transport infrastructures. You could get on a whim from Tokyo down to Fukuoka, the other end of the line, in like 5 hours on a train with a thing to plug your thing in and big seats. It feels like luxury. If you don't want to do that, it would cost about $200 to take that same train ride. However, there are now startup airlines with excellent sites in English. You can make that same trip. I made it recently for like $60. Jetstar, check it out. And Jetstar, become one of our sponsors. Because, hey, it's a pleasure to promote you. But you should definitely check that out. And it's easy to get around the country like that as well.
Maximum Travel 一緒に探検しようぜ
What else I would suggest is eating. As I said, the Japanese are big foodies. And if you're going to go out to eat in the States now, it's like, well, okay, I eat, here's what I'm paying. Then there's like a surcharge on that. Then the tip is now 25%. Then it becomes ridiculously expensive at the end of the day. However, here, no tipping. That's right, no tipping, and yet excellent service. It's unbelievable when you first get here. And on top of it, they'll probably throw in some free all-you-can-drink tea if you want as well. Oh, a hint, check out the lunch. Dive into the lunch. Foodies hit the lunch because very often there are really good lunch deals where you'll get almost the same amount and certainly the same quality food as dinner, but for a really reasonable price, often under $10, maybe $7.50 US for a good, delicious Japanese lunch. And then if you're going to out for dinner, you can hit a cheap izakaya. Izakaya is like kind of it's almost a gastropub, I'd say. It's a place where you go, mainly there's drinks, but then they also have a whole bunch of food as well. There are a lot of chains of those, so if you get to know one, you'll be able to find it all over the country. Zawatami is a favorite. Just ask anyone for a cheap izakaya and they'll point you in the right direction. The eating is so good. And of course, you can always hit the convenience stores. There is no place where convenience stores are literally more convenient than in Japan. You can probably walk down the street and hit about 3 within 3 steps. They're everywhere and they have good bentos. So if you want to try a bento, Japanese experience, and if you're here in the nice season of either May or October, you're gonna miss the cherry blossoms at that point, but it's a definite nice season to come. You can even have your bento out on the street if you want. And there are a lot of things to do that hardly cost any money. I mean, you know Tsukiji, right? You know the big fish market, you know that doesn't cost any money. Yeah, you can definitely do that, and there are places like that all around town. And Japanese cities are fairly compact, so you can probably even walk around those cities to get from free thing to free thing. If you come to Fukuoka, where we, the talk show, are located, there's even like, there's the port tower. The port tower here is entirely free. You can go up and have a checkout of the entire city for free. Or you can go to the Fukuoka Tower and pay like, I don't know, 30 or 40 bucks to go up and basically have the exact same view. If you talk to the locals, or of course keep on checking us out here, we'll try to bring you all of those details of cheap travel information. So don't be shy. You've gotten here, you've traveled around, you've eaten delicious things, but where do you stay? That's where they get you. The hotels, right? The hotels are kind of expensive. But have you ever slept in essentially a coffin? Have you ever slept in what feels like this International Space Station? If the answer is no, you need to try out a capsule hotel. Capsule hotels are everywhere throughout the country, and usually they're located right by the central train station. They're essentially made for salarymen who've been out drinking, they missed the last train home. Where do you stay? I don't know. There's a capsule hotel. A capsule hotel, basically, you check in, you drop all your stuff off in a locker that usually smells like feet because it is basically a men's locker room. And if you want, you can even give your clothing to them to dry clean and have for you fresh the next morning for a very reasonable cost. And then you go into like the general area. There's a bath, there's a sauna, there's a hot tub. You can bathe with people you don't even know. No better way to make new friends than getting naked with people you hardly know. Be careful of what kind of friends you make. And then you get to sleep in a little cubby hole. It's like diving in. It's like being a rabbit. You just get in there and you feel safe and you pull. It's just like it's a molded tube. It's like going back into the womb, but easier. You get in there, it's got a little TV, and it's got, sometimes if you're lucky, it has an electric plug, but it has a radio, it has an alarm, and unless you're really claustrophobic, you will feel entirely snug. And you won't feel alone because you'll still be able to hear the slight relaxing snoring of the guy above, below, right next to you. Like music to your sleepy, sleepy ears. You might want to bring earplugs. The only disadvantage of these hotels is that you do have to be out in the morning, and usually you can't leave your stuff there, though sometimes there are exceptions to that. And there are a lot of places, if you check them out online, that will even take reservations in English. But usually you don't need them. You just show up. Capsule Hotel. Capsule Hotel wa doko desu ka? Where's the Capsule Hotel? Master that phrase, and you'll never go lonely or lack a place to sleep in a major Japanese city. If you even want to go lower end than that, they still have internet cafes. Remember internet cafes before everybody had internet available on the 5 different things that they were wearing attached to their body? Internet cafes, you can go, it'll probably be even cheaper than the 30 to maybe $40 a night that a capsule hotel would run you. And you can pay and have internet connection all night, usually a shower as well, and a place to sleep. Safe. The country as a whole, almost anywhere, wherever you go. Safe, relaxing, and fun. So don't be shy and don't worry about your wallet. I would guess if you spend $30 on a capsule hotel, you could spend $30 doing all the fun stuff you want to do for the rest of the day. $60 a day. That's like under 1,000 yen for 2 weeks of travel in Japan. Of course, plus your airfare. So don't be shy. Come and join us. And if you do come to Fukuoka, definitely send us a message right here at thetalkshowradio.com. Check out, of course, the YouTube channel as well. さて、今はちょっと英語バリバリパラパラ話しました。やっぱり英語の方は簡単な感じていますけどね。ということは、日本のいろんな魅力は海外の皆さんに紹介しましたからね。福岡陽気にしちゃったね。飛んできての気持ちを込めました。Maximum Travel Report。
この番組は映画制作の株式会社俊介フィルムとトータルリフォームの株式会社リブラッシュの提供でお送りいたしました。The Talk Show のホームページ thetalkshowradio.com thetalkshowradio.com をチェックしてください。YouTube からもエピソードが視聴できます。ぜひチェックイットアウト。
Coming at you over the airwaves, over the internet, straight to your brain, through your ears. It's the talk show.
株式会社俊介フィルムは日本語と英語のバイリンガルボイスタレントのマネージメントをしています。CM、企業プロモーションなどにプロの英語ナレーターを起用しませんか？テレビやラジオで聞いたことのあるあのプロの声をお届けします。詳しくは俊介フィルム .com へお問い合わせください。